for you today. I'm gonna give you time to invite folks to come in and watch this live. We ain't gonna do a long one today. It's rainy outside, and we just want to get the message out about the this is Torah instruction. Be humble. It's hard for people to be humble, but I'm gonna wait here a little bit. We're gonna start off over today. We're just doing something simple. I want to go over to. I want you to go to Exodus. We're gonna start off in Exodus first. Exodus chapter 31, verse. We're gonna start at verse 14. But so if you would, hey Dave, Jane, I don't see you. I don't see you up here watching. Get on there. It's live. I told you to watch your phone, but hopefully you'll understand. You'll see it. It'll pop up. Let's go. Let's get it. We're going to do Exodus 31, verse 14, starting with. It's all about the Sabbath. And then we're going to tie it in. Do what?
I said Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Grand Rising.
Hello. Go ahead. Let's go. Let's get her started. Dave, better get with it, man. You guys up there in West Virginia, we love you. Y'all being good. Y'all stay warm up there. I know it's going to be wet. It's wet down here. Anyways, let's go over here to 31, Exodus chapter 31, verse 14. You shall guard the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy to you. Everyone who defiles it shall surely be put to death.
Wow.
For whosoever does any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done. Y'all get that? 6 ways, 6 days, work may be done. You can find that again over in Deuteronomy chapter 5, all of the commandments. But in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest, holy to Yahuwah. Whosoever does any work in the Sabbath shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall guard the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, and the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. Now, I can hear the Baptists, I can hear the Methodists, I can hear the Presbyterians, I can hear the Moronians, I can hear the Imbecilicans, I can hear all the ignorant people of the church world, what they're saying. That's for Israel. You just said it was for Israel. See, I told you. Well, let's put that flea-bitten dog to rest.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys today where you is crazy. Let's go over to Numbers chapter 15, verse 15. We're going to start there. I want you guys to listen. Put on your thinking hats. Take the dunce cap off. You got to take that dunce cap off and put on your thinking cap. Now, and I ain't trying to be mean or hateful towards anybody, but that's how I feel about the church world now. Because they want to argue, and they can't argue. It says to prove all things, and I'm going to prove to you right now what this is. It's not for Israel, just Israel alone. We're going to start at verse number 15. It says, one ordinance shall be both for you of the assembly. When you assemble on Sabbath day, you assemble with like-minded people. That's what he's talking about. So really, if you just want to... for layman's terms, it's a church. You have your church on Saturday with your people. That's your assembling. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, he'll be there in the midst. It's that simple. Now let's go on and finish. It says, let me start back over. One ordinance shall be both for you of the assembly. See, he said both. Did y'all see the word there, both?
And tell them what an ordinance is too, friend.
For you of the assembly, and also for the stranger, Gentile, that's what that means, that sojourns with you. that sojourns with you, an ordinance, a law, a decree, Torah, forever, forever in your generations. That means from the time that Torah was given, it is for the children of Israel and the Gentiles that sojourn with them. And if you are grafted in, like Paul said way back over there in the New Testament, over there in Romans, you're grafted in. And guess what? You're sojourning, and guess what? You become part of the Commonwealth. That means you're of Israel. So the Torah is for everybody. He did it from the very beginning. One Torah. It says, forever in your generations, as you are, so shall the stranger, the Gentile, be before Yahuwah. One Torah and one manner of law shall be for you and for the stranger that sojourns with you. Mic drop. All you wolves in sheep's clothing, all you preachers that tell you that this is all for Israel, you got rocks in your head and you don't know the word of God. He's telling us right here that the law, the Torah, is for Israel and the Gentiles. Now, you ever heard this old saying? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. That's what he's telling you. But you want to be stiff-necked and abrasive toward the people that try to bring you good tidings. I want to bring good tidings. Everybody here wants to bring good tidings to everybody. Then you got people that are already in covenant trying to take people to the letter of the law.
Yep. Pharisees and Sadducees.
And you know what? It's good that you're out rebuking people, but don't be zealot. Don't be a zealot. And y'all know what a zealot is because it's in the Word of God. Don't go above and beyond trying to go to the letter of the law. And there's a lot of it going on. I'm not going to name the places, but you know what? I love everybody. And stop being so...
We can correct each other.
Yeah, we got to sharpen iron with iron. Now, that's the lesson really for the day, is to listen to the generation you have back over there in Exodus. He gave us the Sabbath for all generations. For everybody, for all. That's a sign between him. He gave us this sign right here, that the law, the Torah, is for all people, not just Israel, but also the Gentile. He says, one ordinance shall be both for you. Okay, if it's not the Gentile, who is it? Why would he put both? It's both of you, of the assembly and also of the stranger that sojourns with you. An ordinance forever. Forever. That means it don't ever stop. So when he comes back and puts the two trees back together, how is it that he's going to reintroduce everybody to the law? Why would you have to reintroduce he shouldn't have to reintroduce if we've been keeping law. You're not going to have to. Why would you do that? He told you, because everybody's a bunch of rocks. They got rocks up here. And see, you got the rocks in the wrong place. You got rocks here, but we need to be standing on the rock. We need to stand on the rock of our salvation, which is Yahuwah. In Yahusha. Yahusha. See, people get that wrong too. I want to have a discussion, everybody. Chime in, but when you answer, speak up so everybody can hear, because this is a good topic. We had a good discussion before we even got on camera today about the Sabbath and how it should be kept. We know what the Word says about it. We know what the Word says about our jobs, things that you do. We had a good, and we're going to keep that going today, but I want to hear everybody's thoughts on this right here. What are your thoughts on what Numbers has to say? I've read this I don't know how many times in my life, but it's never clicked until I had a friend, Taylor, sitting right here, sent me a video last night with a fellow that nobody's ever talked about this verse in Numbers that I've ever heard. And then I meditated on it and dwelt on it. Man, that is so powerful. if you can't see what he's telling you here, man, you in trouble. You're going to be in trouble because he's telling us right here. And then the other one in the Sabbath, keeping Sabbath, it's for all generations. So if he's telling it's for them, and we know that Sabbath is the law, it's part of the 10 Commandments, it's the fourth one. And he says it was for the generation, a sign for Israel over there in Exodus, but he furthers it here in Numbers because the Sabbath is the law. It's the fourth commandment in the law, the 10 Commandments. And he's telling you here in Numbers that it's for everybody. Just like the sign for them, for generations, forever, this is forever. It doesn't change.
Yep.
You're grafted in. So what's everybody's thought on that?
I mean, it's pretty clear what it says.
I'm thankful
I mean,
that Yahuwah loved us enough to let us sojourn with the Israelites and us
Yeah, that's right. The chosen
Gentiles. You
people.
know,
yes,
I'm so thankful for
me
that.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of the pastors are leading the sheep astray.
For years, I didn't know that, and I'm glad I
Yeah.
stayed in here.
Well, that's
and
because they don't
learned
teach you
from
that in Sun God Day Church.
That's right. They don't.
See,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's another problem. They doing the Sabbath on the wrong day. They just did.
It's just
They got it all
same old,
messed
same
up.
old.
It's
On
mind-numbing,
Sunday,
isn't
You
it?
go to
Yeah.
church, you listen to the same stuff. You come home, and that's it. You don't.
That's right. You don't learn
You
nothing.
didn't learn. You learned what you learned last Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is that
Most of the time,
the
Yeah.
pastors don't even keep
don't show my
that day holy. They preach, and then they turn around and go out to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's true. All gang up and go
They
out.
think that it doesn't apply to them. Oh, clearly, what we just read in Numbers,
Mhm.
it applies to them. It also repeats it in Romans 11 as well.
Paul, this is what Paul was repeating.
Exactly.
See,
It's
and
renewing it.
yeah, and plus, what did we say that back in Exodus 31? What was the last thing that was said there? Somebody got it. What was the last thing he said there in Exodus
Hold on, I'll tell you.
on 31? He said it, and it's for
One Torah and one manner of the law shall be for you.
17. Go to 17. What does 17 say at the very end?
And,
It's just what Taylor said.
spoke to the. You talking about right here in Numbers?
No, Exodus,
Uh,
verse
I'm in
17.
Numbers.
It says here, it says, Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
Was refreshed. That's what he's doing.
You rest.
It's a refreshing. That's exactly what the New Testament is. It's a refreshing of the old. And Paul knew this. Paul was well versed in the old scriptures. So anybody says that Torah, the Old Testament's done away with, I'll have no part of it. I won't
Well,
listen to you.
Verse 16, in the same exact spot that you just read, it says that, wherefore the children of Israel shall guard the Sabbath, to keep the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. The word perpetual means never ending.
That's right.
Forever.
Right.
Forever. Dallas, what say you, my brother,
What?
about what we're
I'm
talking
on the
about?
same page as y'all, man.
I mean, do you have any other thoughts that you want to add?
No.
Well, I love sharpening iron with everybody. I love being able to go into the word. When I read now, and I understand way more so because when you stop and put your critical thinking hat on and you start looking up words that are in that you don't know, if it takes a week to get through a chapter or two chapters, that's okay. Because stop, look up all your words, write down what they mean, make notes, whatever. That way, because that word's going to be used again somewhere down the line, and you'll know what it means. Like I already know Mitzrayim. That
It's
means
also
Egypt.
foreshadowing of
And when you leave
Egypt
Egypt,
should come into earth.
Egypt is referred to as, like in the New Testament, instead of saying Egypt, they'll say tribulation. And then Babylon, when they say Babylon, it means, or beyond Babylon, that means great tribulation. I mean, it's so amazing how you'll start learning these things, like the beast of the field. We know that it's a man, it's a Gentile. And you know that the Israelites, the Hebrews looked at if you weren't an Israelite, you was the same as the beast of the field. That's what they would call you.
Uncommon, unclean.
You're uncommon, unclean, and it's just ridiculous. But
Ridiculous.
I love learning these things. Dave, Jane, y'all watching? Hello, Heather, hello. All the way down here where it's rainy and messy, but guess what? We all having fun. We studying the word, iron sharpening iron. I love it with my fams. But anyways, anybody else got anything they want to add? Like
Yeah, read Psalm 78.
go ahead and read it.
The whole chapter.
It's long. But you
Well,
need to read.
is there a gist, a verse?
Yeah,
that-
because it's talking about what he's doing for the generations.
all right, we'll read it.
I don't. It's super long.
Which Psalms was it?
78.
Psalm 78.
It just goes in. It's just telling and solidifying what you're saying about the generations and what's happening and what's come to pass. Give ear, O my people, to my Torah. Incline your ear to hear the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known,
And bring
and
them
our
to
fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahuwah and his strength and his wonderful words
Yep.
that he has done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a Torah in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children. So it just keeps going on, and it's going to tell you,
Generations,
but it's going to tell you exactly, it's a refreshing of what you already read. It's going to tell you about the rocks, how water gushed from those, and I mean,
Yeah.
it just keeps going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something else to solidify what you're saying.
That's what's so beautiful about this word, because people say when you read, you can take one scripture and pull it out from a book or any book in here, and you can
Scriptures.
say something about it, and then the wicked, detestable cesspool church is going to say, "Oh, you took that out of context. You took that out of context, guy." And I'm going to say, wrong. I'm going to say because Jeremiah he says, Isaiah tells us, here a little, there a little,
See, it
back
says
over here just a little
they
bit,
did not guard the covenant
line upon line,
of
precept
Elohim,
upon
to
precept.
walk in his
I
Torah.
can make another book out of this Bible with never changing a word. Do what, Robin?
It just goes on to say right here, it says, they did not guard the covenant of Elohim and refused to walk in his Torah.
And refuse.
Says right here in 78:10.
78:10.
Yeah.
That's Psalms.
Yeah.
78:10. Read that, guys, because anybody listening, read it, because it is.
And forgot his works
Yeah,
and his wonders that he had showed them.
he forgot them. But
For Baal.
yeah,
For Baal.
Baal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's beautiful how it just tells it over and over.
I enjoy our conversations, and I want people to not be afraid to get into the word and start digging in and start
It's like 72.
and start getting off the milk and getting off the surface and start digging down, because there is a whole nother world. The deeper down you go, you'll be more. It's what he says when he'll give you meat in due season. When it's time for you to have more meat, he's gonna give you more meat. And it's really, it's amazing how this word is so intricately written that it's like I don't want to say it's coded, but then I don't want to say it's not coded. It's like you'll start to see things when you look. People that don't have the Spirit in them, and how do we know that the Spirit of truth ain't in them? Because they're not keeping commandments. He says it over there in 1 John that the Spirit of truth ain't in you and you're a liar. So if you're a liar, then that means the truth ain't in you, because the truth is the Spirit, and it's His Spirit, and He'll put it in you, which is the commandments. His righteousness is the commandments. And so if you're keeping those commandments, you'll do well. And go from there and start learning what He's telling you. Now, I don't keep any of the feast days yet, because the feasts are, He says, don't keep them in a profane land. And so I don't keep the feast days that He does. I want to learn more about them, but I'm not keeping them. I'm keeping His Sabbath. I'm doing that.
You don't want to profane it.
Yeah, I don't want to profane it. And look, I call them Yahuwah and Yahusha. I call them that because that was what the world first called him. And you want to argue that? The whole world spoke the same language before the Tower of Babel. And they called him Yahuwah in Paleo Hebrew. Well, it says in the word that the end is going to be the same as the beginning. So, in the beginning, the same as the end. So, with that being said, he was called Yahuwah before he was called anything else. That's why I use the word Yahuwah. That's why I use Yahusha, because Yahusha comes in his Father's name, which is salvation. Yah means I am, but Yahuwah is salvation. And Messiah says, I come in my Father's name. So,
And Acts 4
and
and 12.
then you got the Christmas Jesus guy, the Easter Jesus guy, that comes in his own name. He's not. There's no correlation, no connection between Jesus and Yahuwah, Yehovah, Yahweh. There's no connection whatsoever. And the world lifts him up above the Father, and you can't do that. You can't do it. But if you leave a comment, if you have a question, I'll get to you. I promise you. Just leave it down there in the bottom. I love you guys. He says to keep the royal law. The royal law is to love God, the Father, with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. And the second one is likened to the first one, to love thy neighbor as thyself. I love you guys. Y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Scott, listen to this. 79, right off the rip.